Jennifer was a church girl from a small town in Minnesota. She went to church 3 days a week, said her prayers every night, and lived by the code of the Bible. But that didn't stop dark supernatural forces from trying to take over her mind and her body. And it would be up to the members of her church to drive them out. Jennifer was a 23-year-old church girl from Minnesota. She was a good girl her whole life, but a series of family tragedies had shaken her faith. Her mother passed away from cancer, and her father had been arrested for public intoxication and disturbing the peace after a very public fight in the town square. It was the talk of the small town in Minnesota, and soon Jennifer grew uncomfortable with the townspeople all staring and talking about her family. She began to drink on the weekends, living a wilder life than she ever did. She started drifting from her church group, and soon she stopped going to church altogether. In order to get away and start clean, Jennifer moved into a new town and a new home. But as soon as she started settling into her new house, she was overcome with a feeling that something else was in the house. An invisible presence. Then she began having violent nightmares that would leave her tossing and turning in bed for hours. When she woke up, the sheets would be on the floor, she'd be covered in sweat, and she would be consumed by a feeling of dread. These nightmares went on for weeks. Each night, they would get worse and more terrifying. Jennifer described the dream to her friends. The dream would start out where she's in a forest, but all the trees are dead and black. She finds herself lost in the forest, and as she tries to find her way out, she is traveling in deeper and deeper. Soon, the trees are so thick that they block out the sun, and the forest feels like night in the middle of the day. Then, Jennifer starts to hear a voice, a shadowy whisper coming from deep within the forest. Looking for a way out, she follows the voice, but then the owner of that voice makes itself known. It's a demon, hiding behind the trees, taunting her. She starts to run, but the demon follows her. As she runs away from it, she suddenly encounters ghosts flying through the air at her. She dodges the ghosts, but the demon is still following her. She runs and runs until she encounters a house in the middle of the forest. She enters the house. Inside the house, it's nothing but hallways, long and endless, much longer than the house looks on the outside. She runs through the halls, looking for a way out, and she encounters a woman. She's a scary ghost-like woman, and she can't see her face, but she's standing there, blocking her path. She's got a weapon in her hands. In some dreams, it's a knife. In some, it's a gun. In some, it's a club. But she's always there, blocking her path. The demon is coming up behind her. She's now trapped between the ghost and the demon. They get closer and closer until she is sandwiched between the two of them. Soon, they touch her flesh and begin to fuse with her. The ethereal forms of the ghost lady and the demon monster are absorbed into her flesh, and Jennifer begins to scream in terror. At that point, she says that even in the dream, she can feel them devouring her soul, eating her alive from the inside. She screams and thrashes in agony as she feels the pain of her actual soul being scorched and devoured by two otherworldly beings. These dreams plagued her for months. One night, a neighbor called the police because she heard screams coming from Jennifer's bedroom. The moans and screams were so loud, she heard them from the next house over, which was about 300 yards away. When the police came, they too heard the screams and broke down the front door when no one answered. They found Jennifer thrashing in her bed, screaming in terror. They woke her up, and Jennifer was surprised to see the police and her neighbor in her bedroom. The next day, she was talking on the phone to one of her old friends from her former church group in Minnesota, and she was telling her about this recurring dream. She told her that each night she wakes up and the sheets are on the floor and her clothes have, in some cases, been torn during the night. Her friend tells her to set up a video camera and record her at night and see what is happening. She did. And when she watched back the video, she was shocked at what she saw. For almost the entire night, she was writhing and thrashing on the bed, moaning and screaming at the top of her lungs. Her body arched and bucked on the bed, and her legs kicked and squirmed like she was being tortured by something in her dreams. The sight of this shocked Jennifer. She had never seen herself looking like this, writhing like that, and she became very concerned that this was more than just bad dreams. She was convinced that there was something supernatural going on, and she asked her church friends if they could pay her a visit and help her get rid of this demon. Her friends came down from Minnesota to stay with her. That night, she had another one of those nightmares. Her friends came into the room and found her writhing in the bed furiously and violently. They attempted to wake her up, but to no avail. Then, her best friend grabbed her Bible and began reading passages from it. At first, this didn't seem to have any effect whatsoever as Jennifer continued to writhe around in the bed and scream at the top of her lungs. But after about 10 minutes, her writhing began to subside and she soon woke up. She told her friends that she could feel these demons trying to get into her body. She felt that in the middle of the night, when she was dreaming, the demons were using her dreams and her depression and her anxiety as a way into her soul. The next morning, she didn't remember saying that, and she didn't remember being woken up in the middle of the night. So, the following day, her friends put together a plan on how to free Jennifer of these demonic forces. They highlighted specific passages of the Bible. They went to a local church and asked a pastor to bless a vial of anointing oil that would be used later that evening. Then they let her go to sleep and they waited. Soon, the dreams started, and Jennifer's nightly dance of frenetic writhing and guttural moans began. The girls read from the Bible and doused the anointing oil all over Jennifer's squirming body. This went on for almost a half hour. During the experience, she never opened her eyes and didn't wake up until it was over. No matter how loud the church group shouted and preached, and they were quite loud, not once did Jennifer awaken from her dream state. She was trapped in a nightmare, one that very well might be caused by a real-world Freddy Krueger, a dream demon that torments the souls of its victims in their nightmares. Jennifer would later describe her dream during this. She said that when she reaches the part of the dream, when the demonic forces are attempting to fuse with her, suddenly a great rain occurs. She could hear it hitting the roof of the house. Then, the rain is so strong it rips through the ceiling of the house, and a tsunami comes and tears the walls of the house away. She's now surrounded and immersed by warm, soothing water, and the water feels amazing. It tingles and soothes her wounded spirit and causes her to begin squirming on the bed in pleasure. The rain causes the demon and the ghost lady to sizzle and burn, and they scream in agony. She soon dances around them as they wither away into the forest. She dances gloriously in the rain, free of the demonic force that had been chasing her. She dances and dances until she wakes up. Afterwards, she said she felt the house felt lighter, as if a dark presence was no longer around. After that evening, her bad dreams ceased, at least for the time being. And within a few weeks, she gave up the apartment and she moved back to her small Minnesota town and started going again to her old church. Although now she only goes on Sundays. And she now makes sure she always says her prayers before she goes to sleep.